That's good. It's pretty good. What's up, guys?
Hey. Oh, man.
Where do we sit?
Let me get you a good chair. What's up, man?
I don't care about that. Yeah. I brought some books for you.
Books?
Yes.
Oh, my
These
God.
are 3 of my 4.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you,
Homework.
man.
No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, did you actually
This is
write?
some years ago. Yeah. These are my.
What?
Yeah, I've written 4 books. I had 3 of them at home when we were leaving this morning.
That's so nice, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, tell me what you think.
Okay.
Tell me what you think.
Well, I have a
My
question.
thoughts evolve through them.
Wait.
So they're not. I kind of had different spots. Woke Ink.
Okay. And then this one's Nation.
That was my first one. So
This is your first book right here?
Yeah, that was the hardest one to write because once you start doing it, then it becomes easier. This is my most recent.
This one.
Yeah.
Amazing. Here, you sit in this chair.
You sure?
Yes.
This is the,
you get the Lamborghini chair.
Okay.
Where's
yours, dude?
You know, I'm gonna sit right here. It's okay.
No, we can get another one.
You're my guest. I sit over here.
How
It's
long
okay.
you been live?
Like 20, 30 minutes.
Oh,
Just,
really?
Yeah, just getting them kickstarted. I got an event February 1st. I was going to invite you to go to, but it's like a boxing. I'm starting out my own boxing.
Is that what's downstairs?
Yeah, the ring. We're setting
Looks
everything
pretty
up.
good. Looks pretty
Yeah,
good.
man. We're trying to put it together. I was doing it last year, but I got shut down because I wasn't doing it right. Like I wasn't doing it by
Shut down by who?
the commission. They didn't like
What
that.
commission?
I had to get basically sanctioned.
Like which commission though?
Florida.
I'm very interested in this. Like the state law or federal?
Yeah, Florida Combat. I got served at my warehouse for doing unsanctioned boxing events a year ago. Yeah, so it took a while to get my license.
So what is actually you got my attention now? So because I am generally an anti-regulation guy unless it's like an absolute necessity. So what is the necessity of people having to sanction whether or not
to have amateur and pro boxing or boxing fights?
Yeah.
Because I don't know the real reason
What's
behind
the
it.
purpose? Yeah.
I don't really know. I know that it's difficult to do in a lot of states.
Okay.
I know Florida was one of the easy ones, which I got lucky
Okay,
with.
well that's better, but maybe not as easy.
Maybe that got money. Okay, they're all saying money, safety mainly. Yeah, I mean it makes sense.
But what does safety mean though? Like for safety of the boxers to make sure.
I'm cool in this chair. Thanks, guys.
Sure?
Yeah, I like this chair. It's cool.
Can I leave it open?
Citrus, can you close the door? Yeah. The sound will be better. I think because look, when I was doing my first few events, it wasn't really done through the full safety precautions, meaning like the paramedics weren't fully there. There was doctors. We take blood. We do drug tests.
So you think it was reasonable for you to
to get sanctioned
have to
eventually, because eventually it would be shut down and all that stuff. Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm really excited. I'm very passionate about it.
So
it's
what's
great.
the first fight looking like?
Well, we have 8 fights. A lot of them are streamers and other content creators in my world. But I'm very excited.
Who are gonna fight?
They're gonna fight. Yeah.
You're not fighting.
No. I want to be the Dana White of this thing.
Okay, got it. I've seen you at a few of the UFC.
Yeah.
So
we
you
met.
Kind of got your. You've kind of got your instincts of how you want to do things. You know?
Exactly. No, exactly.
That's good.
I want to start today, guys, and again, this is just such a big thing for me. I mean, you and I spoke. It was at the UFC where John Jones fought, and I got your number, and you're like, let's do something. And honestly, I instantly was like, wow, this is great because what you've done is amazing. And what I want to do this new chapter I'm going down is motivate people and help them find paths and American excellence is what you kind of were.
That's my big theme.
Right. So I want to even if one person in my chat can be inspired to do something by this conversation is kind of like my goal here. And that's just kind of like the thing. I want people to gain from watching my stream. I don't want people to be like, yo, why do you watch Adin's stream? Like, why do you watch it? I don't want people to be like, oh, it's a waste of time, all this stuff, because I could see how degenerate content constantly being spammed can be that way. And people also, they love me, but I want people to also gain from my stream. I want people to even if it's one person, they're like, okay, I saw this and I love this and I'm going to apply this to my real world. That's my whole purpose of kind of I wanted to rush and do this. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. But I see that you just did Breakfast Club, right?
Yeah, I did. I was in New York yesterday. I slept in Ohio, my home bed last night. I have a rule. I travel so much.
Yeah.
As many nights, even if it's 1 a.m., I'll be sleeping there tonight too. My home bed, head on my pillow at home, see the kids in the morning, and then go.
So you're here and you're going right back to Ohio?
I was in New York. I went to Ohio last night.
Yeah.
I came to Miami. I'm back to Ohio tonight.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that's a good rule of thumb. You probably have a younger audience, but once you have kids, and even once you're married, if you have a job that's taken you in a lot of different directions, I think things can go in. You used to see other people and friends, what they go through, you kind of just lose connection with your home base.
Yeah.
So the rule that I set up before I ran for president or anything else is we own a plane, let's use it. get back that night, even if it's 1 a.m., go to sleep at
I love
home
that.
base.
I love that. So it's like you go do what you need to do. You come right back home. You're in your
Yeah.
own bed. That's great.
Yeah.
Guys, I wanted to actually ask you guys this question because when people first started watching me, they grew up with me. I like it like that. They mature with me. They're growing with me. How old are you guys? Everybody in my chat.
Yeah, let's see it.
I'm because we're growing. We grew up together, and it's 23, 19, 31,
Okay.
19, 30. So I'm
Good.
like yeah. So when I mentioned when we had talked on the phone a couple of days ago, it's cool to see when I was speaking about when Trump did the stream with me. I told you or I told everyone that Barron Trump was
Yeah.
appointing his dad to do me, Theo, and all these things, and it's cool because it's like I like to think even if it was a 0.001%, if I had any type of effect on an actual presidential election, it's crazy.
I don't think it was 0.001%. I think it's bigger than that because
Yeah, I don't know.
I think you helped. Yeah, I mean, it's whether it's a combination of you had a guy who, despite in his case being in his 70s,
Yeah.
still saying, you know what, I want to reach the next generation. I think
True.
that's great.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things I tried to do when I ran was, in some ways, the political class forgets about who the youngest demographic is they're serving, even though the whole purpose of what we're doing is for the next generation, or at least it should be.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I thought it was cool to
Thank
get
you.
people. It was a little different
Yeah.
for a politician or presidential candidate to show up in a stream like this.
Yeah.
And I think it really helped us.
Yeah.
It really helped President Trump.
I think so too. I like people like to see the fun side of people. I actually, what do you do by the way? Like outside of business and
Yeah.
politic world and all, what do you do for fun? Like what do you?
I'm like a tennis fanatic, actually.
Tennis guy?
There's a good chance I'll be at the Ohio State tennis practice tomorrow morning.
Oh my God.
Most days when I'm in Columbus, I show up and I'll warm up with the coaches of the team.
Mm-hmm.
That I used to train with some of those guys in the juniors. And so I play tennis. I'm pretty into tennis. And then once you have kids, you got to narrow your hobbies. You can't do everything. I'm big into hiking. I like to go out
Oh wow.
as to the quietest place I can get to. If it's winter hiking in cold mountains in Colorado, whether it's Brazil where we spent Christmas in the Amazon. I love being in solitude in nature. I love playing tennis at a competitive level. I like doing things that I'm really good at. I don't like doing things where it's like you only have to enjoy something after you get really good at it.
Yeah.
So I pick a few of the things I'm good at. I enjoy playing the piano. I think better when I'm fit. So, I'm not like obviously not like a bodybuilder or anything, but I work out probably 4 or 5 days a week with a trainer. It gets me focused, dialed in. And then after that, just take a bunch of quiet time, maybe with a notebook, write stuff down, get your ideas flowing. That's where the books come from.
Got it.
So I like that. I like writing. I like quiet, time in nature. I love playing competitive sports, especially tennis. And I like to spend time with my kids.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. W dad is what I would say. So it's funny you mentioned books. Somebody like myself, I'll be real. I'm telling you guys, I'm telling him, I've never read a book in my entire life. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something about that before you sort of think that that's something you have to admit.
Yeah.
I actually, each person's wired differently. I actually write much more easily than I read. So I'm actually, people expect me to be like a really super fast reader or whatever. I'm actually not. I'm a relatively slow reader. It takes you, you read something, you want to think about it. So there's many ways to consume other ideas. But let me ask you, like reading is one medium of doing it. How do you consume other ideas?
Well, I like watching, whether it's, what
Movies?
not even movies. Yes. I love the movies where actors reenact real life events.
Okay.
Like, for example, I just watched this recent one. I was so fixated on it. It was the Aaron Hernandez HBO TV show. It was like a series of actors actually acting out Aaron Hernandez and his life and what happened. And I was fascinated by it because it's like, I like to think how people who obviously are there, like how they think. I'm very interested in I'm very interested in like human beings and their minds and all that stuff. So I was really
You're clearly a deeply curious person.
Yeah.
That's why I find it a little surprising if you say you've never read a book, but you clearly consume the inputs for your thought, right?
Yeah.
Once you start to think, you could think on your own, but you got to have some inputs.
Yeah.
To juice that. So movies maybe for yourself.
Movies, and you know what I
Maybe
watch?
these conversations. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that too. Also like YouTube short videos telling stories. Like for example, like in high school, I wasn't the best student, and I make it very clear to everybody that watches and stuff like that. But like when I didn't know the full on history of like the Cold War, for example, right? I went back and I watched a YouTube video of animations and cartoons, and I was like, okay, now I understand. And it's easier for me to understand this than in high school in the history textbooks. I had learning disabilities too as well. So,
well, is there anything you wish your high school would have done differently to teach you about the Cold War?
A lot.
Yeah, like what?
I think the high school is very outdated. I think it's a very... Oh, okay.
Nice.
I think high school is a very outdated system. I'm all for people getting an education. It helps with social skills. It helps with how it helps their brains, and it helps people kind of like get into like a scheduled routine. But I think the subjects are mainly outdated. A lot of them are, in my personal opinion.
Well, like what? I mean, history is clearly a core high school subject.
That's a good one.
Clearly, you're interested in history.
Yeah.
You're studying the Cold War. Like what else is outdated?
I would just say like I don't know, and again, this is very general what I'm about to say, but I haven't used the periodic table since junior year chemistry. You know what I mean? So it's like, or I haven't talked about how chromosomes work and photosynthesis and all these things, and it's like I get it. I'm just speaking for mainly people that don't really I don't know. Sorry, I lost my thought there.
You're speaking for you. You're saying high school isn't for everybody, and like it didn't.
I just think some subjects are outdated. In my personal opinion, I never went to college. I don't give people educational advice for that specific reason. Like, I'm far from the person people should listen to and all that. I think that in high school you should be taught more social skills. I think kids go through more things nowadays because of TikTok and all these things.
What about physical? How do you feel about physical education?
That as well. I think you should start PE. I think
Young,
they make America. Everyone's fat. Everyone's obese. It's so easy. And it's
not just when you're obese. It's like when you're not active, you become depressed.
Yes.
You have anxiety.
Low testosterone.
Low testosterone.
Yes.
Less overall happiness.
Yeah.
So there used to be this thing called the presidential fitness test that was the norm in middle school, where you do this many push-ups, this many pull-ups.
Yep.
Exactly. I have advocated for bringing that back. Actually, when I ran for president, that was one of the things I wanted to do.
It's great.
It's called the presidential fitness test, but it's actually for junior high school. I think that'd be good.
Why would they stop doing that?
I don't know. I mean, even in terms of like the SAT, you've got math, you've got reading, you've got writing, and I'm in favor of all of those subjects. But I also think there should be a physical component to it
100%. 100%.
I think that's part of. In some ways, you prioritize what you measure.
Yeah.
And so I'm a big fan of the physical fitness piece. The only thing I would say is. I totally get the way that biology and stuff is taught. Here's photosynthesis. Here's the periodic table. It's very memorization based, and what does that matter? Right?
Yeah, of course.
The 2 letters for iron is Fe. So what?
Yeah.
What more do you know about the world if you just happen to know that?
Yeah.
Right? But at its best, actually, there's a different version. I think it comes down to the way it's taught. What's really interesting is even if you never want to go be a chemist or a biologist, if it's taught in the right way, it makes you change the way that you actually think about other problems in the world. Like even like genetics, about chromosomes. It's just fascinating, the idea of every one of the cells in your body has 23 chromosomes, one from your dad, one from your mom, and that is entirely determinative of the proteins that are produced in your body that help decide who you are visually and physically, and even you could debate spiritually as a person. It makes you think about what you're actually made of. And then if that's an entry point to not just memorize, which chromosome or which gene is on an X or Y chromosome, but instead to think about, it's like a path to reflecting on the fact that you are made of something that preceded you. That's actually education at its best, causes us to really think about questions we otherwise wouldn't have. And I know that high school education doesn't necessarily go there. It's very rote memorization.
Yeah,
here's your quiz, here's your test. And I don't think that is necessarily something that helps people discover a love of learning.
Right.
But if you get to sort of just seeing the beauty of like describing the world, right? Like I study biology.
Gotcha.
So I'm a partial fan of that. But I do think that there's the version it's taught where it's memorization, rote, not good. But if there's an opportunity to sort of see just the beauty of this is one lens to understand how the world works, I think that's pretty cool. The next time you go for one of those long hikes, you think about the world around you a little bit differently.
It's cool. No,
That's
I know.
what I love.
The way that you put it, it's like you're agreeing that it is fascinating. It is.
Yeah.
I just think
like the same genes that make you and me are also, you go hiking in the forest and you see a bunch of trees, or like the ant that's like biting you in the Brazilian rainforest that I went to, were all made up of the exact same underlying genetic
That's crazy.
material and makeup, just ever so slightly different.
That's wild.
It makes you think about, right, about seeing the universality of, and it even merges with religion at that point, like where your respect for other human beings or your respect even for nature comes from. It's grounded in something that's true that you can study.
I love it.
And I think that for me, that's where I really discovered my love of learning. Is it's just it's like a different set of shades through which you view the universe. Then it's like, oh, okay, I kind of want to learn more of that, even if I don't know that Fe means iron.
What is your IQ?
I tested only like a long time ago. So I tested 150 at the time, but they said it only went up to 150 when I was in.
Oh,
fifth grade,
wow.
So I don't know.
Wait, 5th grade was the last time you tested it?
6th grade, 5th grade, something
Oh
like that.
my
Yeah.
gosh, you
don't want a long test. It's probably lower now.
That's
I
crazy.
don't get as much sleep.
That's crazy. Wait, so how many hours of sleep does somebody like you get?
Not enough. So
no.
I'm not an example. Like, I'm not a good example
Yeah.
for what I want to be, but like.
By the way, do you want a water? That's
Yeah, I'll take a water.
Cool.
I'm probably averaging about 4 hours this week.
Every night.
This week I'm averaging about 4 hours, but I feel like my brain's working a little more slowly because of that.
Got it.
So I would rather be at 7 or 8, to be honest with you.
Do you take any supplements, vitamins? Do you take anything to kind of help?
So I am. I'm normally skeptical of it, but I've recently started taking magnesium glycinate
Okay.
before you go to bed. Just helps you calm down. It's like a supplement. It's magnesium, and again, goes back to your study of basic elements. It's just
you're right.
elements, chemistry, Mg 2+. Okay, it's easy. So it's not like some sort of synthetic, made up, ultra processed thing. It's just basic element, magnesium. So I take that. It actually has I found it. Maybe it's just psychological, but I feel like I get to sleep a little bit faster. Tastes good. It's like a gummy. Take 2 of them.
Is it better to do than melatonin? Would you recommend?
Yeah, I don't like melatonin.
No,
Not for me.
Do you wake up groggy?
I've actually never taken melatonin because I believe I would wake up groggier based on my understanding of how it works.
Yeah.
Versus magnesium, which is super low level. So that's like the only thing that I take for sleep.
Got it. Yeah, because I used to have a lot of sleep problems, a lot of sleep problems. But what I noticed helps me the most was the melatonin. But it's so hard. You wake up the next day, you're groggy. You know what I mean? You're just groggy. And I don't know if it's from not drinking enough water. I don't know what it's from. Probably just because melatonin's a vitamin, isn't it? I read it's some type of a vitamin.
I mean, it depends on what is a vitamin. You could sort of call anything a vitamin. I wouldn't call it a vitamin.
No. What would you say? It's just a sleep like a sleep.
Yeah, I mean it's like closer to affecting your kind of hormonal and metabolic balance. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on like CBD?
What are my thoughts on CBD? I'm CBD curious. This is where I'm at. But I do think that some of the longer term effects make me a little bit freaked out. So I'm not,
Got it.
I'm not going to get a CBD oil massage just because I think it might make my brain work a little more slowly.
I got you. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on CBD?
I mean, what I do know is for sure, it's been proven. Like, because I've had a couple family members that have had cancer.
Really?
They've had to go through chemo and all that stuff. So when they would smoke, they wouldn't do the THC. They would just do CBD. And from how they would basically tell me, they would tell me like it would help them a lot, like when it comes to like sleeping.
I mean,
relaxing.
also just dealing with pain. I mean, cancer pain.
Yeah, it's horrible.
If you don't mind me asking, what kind of cancer did they have?
Breast cancer, and the other one was Hodgkin's, I think. Hodgkin's
Hodgkin's
lymphoma.
lymphoma.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing. I have a totally different view if you have a disease state and you're looking at managing your disease. But in ordinary life, I think we got to find ways to relax that don't rely on chemicals, all else equal. Like I take my magnesium gummy once in a while, but that's I think you don't want to use external chemical substitutes for just something that like some deep breaths and some quiet time might actually take care of.
You're right. No, I mean, like that's the thing. Like I feel like with nowadays, pharmacies are so easy to just prescribe X, Y, and Z. It's like it's so easy and accessible.
But, so I mean, and the only thing I would say is, pharmacies can prescribe, but also even the stuff that's not prescribed, but just because you can get it doesn't mean that it's any better than the stuff that was prescribed.
True.
It could just be equally bad, and somebody didn't have to prescribe it.
Yeah.
Versus however far you're able to get without chemical dependence. I'm just a big fan of chemical independence. I'm actually just a big fan of independence. Period. I just love independence. Independence from my government. Independence from chemicals. Independence from addiction. And it's easy to look to the outside to substitute for what you probably may do better to find inside.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I know.
Do you do meditation ever?
You know what's crazy? So I feel like I've had a few spiritual, I wouldn't call it a full-on awakening, but I feel like I've had a couple spiritual moments in my life. Like, I feel like...
Are you religious?
So, I believe in a God. I believe in a higher power. My relationship with God right now...
You believe in one...
I believe in one
universal God.
Yes, I do. I do believe in a third eye, though. Do you know what that is?
No, not... I mean, tell me. I don't think I do.
Like, I believe in, like, if you're, like, spiritual, you have, like, a third eye. I feel like
it's interesting you use that, because that's actually, like, a very Hindu concept, but I think you might mean it in a different sense.
I just don't know what I believe in yet.
That's fair. That's super fair and very honest.
Yeah, because I
think it's probably true of most people. You're just willing to admit it.
I just, it's just like, I don't know what's real sometimes. I don't know what to believe in, what to not believe,
Are you interested in finding out?
Oh, 100%. I want to know everything. Mm-hmm. But I want to, because I feel like my life right now is so mechanical, and it's so, the word is like, it's just so, I don't have that spot that I want to find. Like, I want to find it. I want to know what
is true.
I want to know what's true, and I want to know what to believe in, and I want to know what to praise, and because I do know there's a God. I know there's a higher power for sure. I felt, I've had
it's kind of the only way it could be. I believe.
Yeah.
Actually, so one of the things the book I gave, where did I get Truths.
Sorry.
You don't have to get it. Doesn't matter.
No, this one right here.
Yeah, just take a look at it later. The first chapter is about the question of belief in God. Actually, the chapter's titled "God is Real," but it goes through. Actually, many people think of the scientific explanation for the universe as being the Big Bang. You familiar with the Big Bang?
Big Bang Theory, of course.
Yeah. So. It's a TV show, but it's also...
Yeah, I know about the TV show.
Yeah, but it's also, you understand.
No, I know. That's how Earth was created.
Yeah, the universe started with one Big Bang. But actually, there was a funny thing is they thought that was supposed to defy religion, and then the Catholic Church came out and said, no, we love this, actually. We love the existence of the Big Bang because it is consistent with the idea of a supreme being, of a God who actually created the world into existence. And so... It's kind of interesting. Like the Big Bang Theory doesn't include Adam and Eve, but it includes the idea of a universe who banged the Big Bang, who catalyzed the bang.
Got it.
Right? That had to be something that started before the Big Bang, which they argue actually means the existence of God. And conversely, there was like a Maoist legend. So Mao was a Chinese communist who was totally opposed to the idea of a God.
Yeah.
They were totally opposed to the idea of a Big Bang, because if there's a Big Bang, that means that might suggest the actual existence of God. So anyway, back to our earlier discussion about like boring stuff about biology and chemistry and the way it's taught in high school, which I agree with you is largely unhelpful. But at its best, I actually think that my study of science certainly leads me to greater conviction in the existence of God.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that conversation can just be, you could speak about that for hours and hours and hours because there's so much to talk about and there's so many like different things. I wanted to
everybody's telling you what to ask me about? I like this.
Yeah, so guys,
this is so real time. I like
it's great. You've never done anything live before? This is your first? Really?
I think it's my first stream like this. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, guys, ask some questions. You guys my dad actually wanted me to ask you a few questions too. I'm going to ask you as well.
All right, sweet.
My dad is probably watching.
Go fast too. This is not an easy job. Just hanging here.
It's not. No, this is harder than a regular 9 to 5. I'm kidding. It was a joke. It's not. It's really not. It was a controversial thing.
Yeah.
I want to make it very clear to everybody. Streaming is nowhere near as hard as a 9 to 5. I'm just being real with all of you, and I actually know
Have you
that.
ever had a 9 to 5?
I've worked 4 jobs before.
Oh, you have? Okay, all right. So you can say you have authority to say that.
I cut and split wood when I was in high school. I worked as a busboy in 2 different restaurants, and then I cleaned Airbnbs. So those are my 4 jobs that I've worked before I was a streamer. Yeah. Nothing crazy, but I mean, I have some type of experience. What's it called? What are they saying? Okay, so this is a big one for me because my dad was a vegetarian at one point of his life, and my mom too, and actually like a lot of my family were. You're a vegetarian. I want to ask a vegetarian now because I've tried it as well. How do you get like your protein and like?
It's a little bit harder.
It is, yeah.
So I do whey protein shake when I work out in the morning. I eat a lot of nuts, beans, lentils, chickpeas, eggs, milk. Those are my big cheese. Those are my big sources of protein.
Do you eat like veggie patties or like?
I do. Yeah, those are often not great sources of protein. Depends on what it is.
Soy, right? Is
yeah,
that what?
So yeah, I mean, there's ones that are high protein. The ones that are made of like grain and veggies are less so. So
Got
yeah,
it.
but eggs, whey protein, direct, cheese, milk, nuts, lentils, chickpeas. Like that's kind of how I do it.
How long have you been vegetarian for?
So I was raised that way.
Got it. So your whole life.
Yeah, so it kind of makes it easier. I mean, it's a lot of people switch into it. It becomes a little bit more difficult. It's not necessarily, I wouldn't argue that it's necessarily healthier. I mean, eating just like a straight fish diet with lean meats or fish and chicken.
Do you eat fish?
I don't.
No.
But I'm saying that like if you're looking at it from a pure health perspective, you can be really healthy as a vegetarian. You can also be really unhealthy as a vegetarian.
Yeah.
And same thing. Like you could obviously be really unhealthy if you eat meat, but you can also be really healthy if you pick the right kinds of
Got it.
the right kind of diet. Yeah,
Makes
you
sense.
said your dad is?
Well, he's not anymore.
Okay.
But he was for a little while. But yeah, it's so hard to be vegetarian. And in my opinion, I've tried it myself. It's just
Yeah, I mean, I it comes from me from like more of a religious sort of background or whatever, which is I would prefer all else equal not to take life for the sake of just my pleasure. Now, if it comes down to my health, absolutely, I would do it. If it comes down to necessity, absolutely would do it. But if it's just down to my preference,
You don't do it.
all else equal, I'd rather not.
Yeah, makes
I'd rather
sense.
not kill an animal.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Guys, again, this is his first time live. This is really cool for him. I just want to show him the difference. You want to ask them a question, like anything like
Yeah, just, I mean, what do you guys want to hear about?
Literally. He's here, man. It's so cool you pulled up on me, by the way, man. This is really cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is good. I was in Miami. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
I kind of like the idea of taking live questions from.
No, it's awesome.
It's going pretty fast, so let's just sort of.
Okay. Somebody said.
Seen a lot of crypto.
Yeah. What do you think about crypto?
Yeah. I mean, look. I think it's like anything else. I think that there are opportunities. I think there are also opportunities to get screwed along the way.
Yeah.
I think that there's a difference between cryptocurrencies where there's a finite supply versus ones where there's not a finite supply.
Okay.
The ultimate example of one where there's a finite supply is Bitcoin.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Through the mathematical formula, they can't print and make up more of it.
Yeah.
But you look at the dollar, you look at most kinds of currencies around the world, what can they do? They can just print more money.
Yeah.
So crypto is interesting potentially as an alternative to say if the government's money isn't real, right? It's just kind of made up. They could just print more money, which means all the money in circulation is worth less.
Got it.
That's what every government's able to do, and that's how the governments have been able to overspend money.
Wow.
Is they literally just go to the printer and just say, oh, there's this many dollars. We have debt to pay down. We have to pay back down the debt. Let's make the dollars worth less so we can actually pay back the debt. We just print much more money and release it into circulation.
Got it.
I'm not really making it up. That's not like an exaggeration. That's just how governments generally have operated.
Right.
So the promise of an alternative to that historically has been gold, because the thought is gold is finite in supply. You have to get it out of the ground, so that's like a finite supply.
Right.
But there's alternatives. Hard gold doesn't have to be the only gold. Gold has to be transported. It has to be held. What if there was a different way to hold a finite supply of something of inherent value? So that was actually part of the premise behind Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, yeah.
So I would put that in a different and, in some sense, superior category to something that you could just print more of, because then it's not differentiated. But I'm not one of these people, though, that turns crypto into like a new religion. Like I'm all in on this coin or that coin. It becomes like a substitute for faith.
Got it.
But I do think that the ability to opt out of the traditional financial system is a good thing, and it would hold people accountable, hold people's feet to the fire by keeping the government more accountable. If people had the ability to opt out of the traditional currency system, that then forces the government itself in the long run to be more disciplined about its spending rather than just turning on the money printing machine.
Makes
so I think
sense.
it's good. Competition is generally good, is my view.
Got it.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the, are you aware what Silk Road is?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so what were your thoughts on the pardoning of,
Well, my thoughts are it was a good decision to pardon him, and the reason I say that is I think when I ran for president, I think I was the first person who called for pardoning Ross. I met his mom twice, and I kept an open mind, but the first time I met his mother, it was in New Hampshire at like a place called Pork Fest. It was like a festival randomly in northern New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And I was introduced by a mutual friend, and she shared with me how she felt that her son had been badly unfairly treated. I promised her I would look into the details of the case, which I did. And having looked at it, it was clear that he was held to a really different standard, right? Because the guy was just operating a platform. There's all kinds of platforms today on the internet where people do awful things, but the owner or the founder of the platform doesn't go to prison for all the awful things that happen on their platform. And I think that Ross was held to a very different standard, and the poor guy spent about a decade of his life that he's not going to get back. But the fact that he got a pardon, I think, is a good thing.
Yeah, no, that's really, really good.
I've been a big public advocate for it, actually.
That's great. No, that's super, super good. Yeah, the chat's very happy about that as well. People love that he got pardoned. You guys have any other questions for my man? I'm gonna let's see here. What are your?
These are going so fast. You're good at this. But...
Okay. They want me to ask you about Elon.
Sure.
What about Elon? Do you guys want me to ask about? Be very specific with him.
DeepSeek. Okay.
Oh, well, isn't that what I saw about the AI?
Yeah, that was this week. Yeah, well, I mean, Elon's obviously super genius. I think we need more super geniuses in America.
Yeah, he's great.
And so, let's get some more of them, please. And
well, you're one of them, man. Seriously, I don't mean to toot your horn, but you really are.
I don't know. We each are good at certain things and not others. But I will say that we are a country where we want to celebrate super geniuses.
Yeah.
We want you can be super good, and not just super geniuses in like math or in writing or anything. Like the best athletes, the best musicians, the best engineers, mathematicians, all of them.
Yeah.
And then if those super geniuses are also willing to at least dedicate a little bit of time to helping the government get better, I think that's better for our country.
It's great. No, it's great.
So that's the way I look at it.
It's great. Yeah, no, I seriously. Go ahead. Let me see here really, really quick. I actually saw
no tax. I like that one.
Yeah, can we get that in place?
Yeah, I think no taxes. So look, I think that we didn't have an income tax for most of our history.
Yeah?
Keep that in mind. For most of our national history, during our early national rise, right? We started as like effectively the equivalent of like a backwater third world country in the global scheme of things, 13 colonies on the eastern seaboard. And by the early 1900s, we were the rising, ascendant, dominant force on the global stage. It was a one-way path.
So what went wrong?
And we didn't have an income tax.
So what happened?
So I think what happened is actually starting the income tax laid the foundation for government overgrowth. And once you have government overgrowth, what happens is people start to think of themselves as victims. Okay, and I think that's probably... I'm tempted to say the biggest problem in America, it's one of the biggest problems in America, is victimhood culture for the last 100 years, is the idea that you ought to be dependent on your government rather than independent from it.
Got it.
And the income tax, I think, was one of the original sins in making that happen. Because once you have the income tax, then the government's able to fund itself to grow, to tax those who achieve, to tax those who are able to produce things. Once you do that, then everybody else views them as a villain, and it's one giant game of tug of war of who gets what from whom. Whereas what I like better is let's just consider a world in theory. If you had a world without an income tax or country without an income tax, then you actually have more people with the maximum incentive to actually create things in that country.
Right.
So that's at the federal level.
Right.
At least at the state level, and here's a good way to look at this. The states that have no income tax are whooping the rear end of the states that do have an income tax.
Yeah,
So the number 1 and 2 states that people move into are Texas and Florida.
Florida, yep.
What's true about both of them? They don't have an income tax.
That's right.
I love my home state. I love Ohio, but unfortunately, Ohio is one of the states that people aren't moving into.
Because of the tax,
They're
right?
moving out of.
What percent is Ohio?
It's kind of middle of the road. It's top end is around 4.5%. California and New York are at the highest end, and people are moving out.
Isn't there city tax too in LA and in New York City?
Oh, totally. Yeah, it can add up. Oh, New York City tax adds up.
Horrible.
And so if for every dollar you earn, half of it, 50 cents of it, goes away, you have less of an incentive to earn. If you have less of an incentive to earn, you have less of an incentive to create, and our economy shrinks, and actually everybody's left worse off. So anyway, I think I know it was a fast comment somebody made while going down, but I thought the no tax thing caught my eye.
But it also doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You love the chat, guys.
I love this. It's like a new experience.
But here's what also doesn't make sense to me. You got a state like California, Los Angeles, the city. Homeless people everywhere on Skid Row. I lived in Los Angeles. People getting robbed into. You call 911, they don't even answer. They said to text 911 in some neighborhoods. There's break-ins. There's all this crime. The police are defunded. Why are we paying the highest tax in somewhere like Los Angeles, California, where it's the worst state to live in?
So, dude, that is a shockingly sensible question.
It's ironic, right?
It's not only ironic. It's not even a coincidence. It's actually the reason why. So generally, when you have a government that is running on the excess of taxing its people, it is actually doing a worse job for the people they're supposed to serve. And somebody mentioned DeepSeek earlier. This is kind of a private sector analogy, but it goes back to government, which I'll come back to in a second. That thing was created with like a tiny budget, but with scarcity, you actually are often able to achieve more than companies that have hundreds of billions of dollars. So that was like the news of this past week.
Yeah.
Well, the same thing is true for the government. Just because your government takes in a whole bunch more money from its citizens doesn't mean that it's doing a better job of providing for those citizens or preventing fires or putting them out when they occur.
Yeah.
How do those taxes do for us there in LA?
Nothing.
Non-existent.
Come on, yeah.
So you might as well actually figure out the best way you're able to get out of the way and do the minimal function that you're supposed to do. So I think the minimum function for government, the only proper function for government, I believe, is protect private property rights and protect actual national defense. All right? We shouldn't have foreign invaders coming into the country. We need physical security in the country. Provide that. Protect private property rights, and then mostly just get the heck out of the way. And the irony right now is we have a government that's not doing those two things well, but is trying to do a bunch of other things well and taxing the hell out of us as a way to do it.
Yeah.
And I just reject that.
It makes no sense. Did you see? Well, I want to talk about the California fires a little bit because it didn't really make sense to me. Also, I saw President Trump meet with the mayor. What's the girl's name? Sorry, I'm a little bit out of. The girl,
the LA, slipping my mind. Yeah, the LA mayor. Yeah.
What's her name, chat? Y'all know who it is. Go ahead.
Look it up.
Come on. What's her name? You don't even need to look it up. Ready? And it's gonna give us in 5, 4. Karen Bass. That's her, right?
Karen Bass. Yep.
I saw she was trying to be like, we need to wait all this time.
Yeah.
Trump's like, why? Like, it's people's properties. Yeah. Let them go clean it out themselves. Let them go do it themselves. Because in LA and specifically in San Francisco, these major cities, it's like you're living in an actual GTA 5 video game where it's like chaos mode. It just doesn't make sense to why would you spend millions of dollars on a house out there? You know what I mean? And it's not safe for you, your family. It's just not the place to be. Mm-hmm. I feel sorry for California. I have a deep heart, space in my heart for California. I lived there for some of my life. I love California. It's beautiful weather, nice people. You have the mountains, you have the snow.
It's one of the most naturally best endowed states probably in the world.
So how do you save California? How do you save California?
I mean, these are man-made problems, right? This is a man-made problem that demands a man-made solution. I think California should try going to being a zero-tax state. I think that would actually work pretty well. People would no longer leave the state, come back, get the government actually out of the way, and then get competent people into government.
Have you met Gavin before?
I have met Gavin, yeah.
Do you like him?
He's a smooth operator as a person. He's a very smooth guy. Yeah. He didn't get to where he is by, he knows how to deal with people. He's got a good people skill about him.
Yeah.
But in terms of the results for running the state, it doesn't look great.
No,
right?
It doesn't.
And I don't think some of this, what you can attribute to incompetence, never attribute to malice.
Gotcha.
So what I believe is always bet on incompetence first as the first and best explanation. But part of what we need is actual competition. There's going to be an election. I think there could be a good next governor of California. So out of the ashes comes greatness usually.
That's great.
So hopefully that'll be true for California. And I'm pursuing a similar path elsewhere in my home state. But that's the way I think about this. It's not just one. I mean, Donald Trump's in the White House. I'm so excited about that. He's going to do what he needs to do at the federal level.
Right.
But the country is also led at the state and local level all the way too.
Yeah, so, there's been a lot of damage, man. We need to heal
totally
as a nation. You know what I mean? We need to figure some stuff out. Go ahead, guys.
Totally. I got one. I see this because I get this question a lot.
What is it?
And I actually want to kind of address it because it's frankly, part of my language is just a bunch of bullshit. From the internet.
What is it?
Ask about Alzheimer's scam. You guys want to hear about that?
Who's that?
Yeah, it's like a bunch of it's the thing when you run for office.
Okay.
People make up the worst crap about you. Like literally, we'll just have no problem on the internet just straight up telling lies about you. Donald Trump, everybody's gone through it, and you know what? I've gotten into this world. I learned the same thing. So I'll tell you about my business background.
Sure.
Because I think this is something that is it's interesting. I'm proud of it, but I also want to share the story to give people ideas of how they're
laughing. That means they're laughing. So
okay, got it.
Yeah, go ahead. But go ahead.
I'm learning the lingo.
You are.
Yeah.
You are. Yeah, you are. You're doing great.
So I started a company after I left my job as an investor. So I got my first job investing in biotech stocks.
Nice.
Super interesting. Really interesting. So I studied biology, applied that to figure out what companies were developing interesting medicines. You make bets accordingly at a hedge fund. Learned a lot doing that. And then I saw an opportunity, which is that big pharma companies behave like governments. They're super bureaucratic, and they're like lemmings. They all go in the same direction at the same time, right? So you mentioned people in the family with cancer.
Yeah.
Well, back in 2007, 2008, all the pharma companies were like, oh, no, we don't want to do cancer. It's not a hot area. 5 years later, cancer is like the main area they want to go into. They leave behind a bunch of other areas. So in 2014, I started this company, and the whole premise was, we'll develop the drugs in the area that Big Pharma has actually run away from. And Big Pharma has run away from many of those areas after developing those drugs. They do early research on them, but then when they switch direction, a lot of those projects are hanging half complete. Let's pick the best of those in the areas pharma's ignoring and develop those drugs. And the whole model is, some of them are going to succeed, some of them are going to fail. That's drug development. But even if you have a few successes in the world of developing new medicines, that's how it makes up for all the failures. That's the whole model of biotech.
Got it.
So I ended up developing a company which focused on areas like women's health, focused on dermatology, and then one of the areas that pharma had completely decided they were abandoning at the time was Alzheimer's disease. So one of the first drugs I developed, and it was the biggest challenge of my life, was an area with 99.7% failure rate.
Oh my God.
Nearly every drug in Alzheimer's disease has failed. So everybody in the pharma industry threw their towel and said, we're not doing this. I said, okay, there's a drug that this company GSK was developing. They had gotten it partway through the process. The guy who was heading their neuroscience division said, this thing has promise, but they said, we're not doing Alzheimer's disease anymore.
Wow.
So I did a deal with them and said, you know what, we'll develop this drug, and if we get it to the finish line, you guys participate in the upside of it,
right.
But we got to take the risk of running that study. So what we did is I did that for a bunch of drugs, and each of those drugs we took them public in their own separate subsidiaries. So the Alzheimer's one went public, and there's a chance it would succeed, there's a chance it would fail. Most Alzheimer's drugs fail.
Yeah.
We thought it had a good chance. Took it to completion. What do you know? You turn over the trial, the drug failed.
Okay. Well, hey,
it sucks.
It's all right.
It sucks, but hey, one of my great lessons in life.
You learned a lot from it.
You get through failure to success, and so that drug didn't work.
Yep.
So the thing that people made up, and this is like in American politics, one of the way worse than business, dirtiest lines of business is American politics.
Yeah, so what's the rumor?
So
the
what they say
news,
is, that I made money off of that failure because there was was there a sale of shares in that company, Axovan? Here's hard fact, public information. People want to go look it up. Did not sell a single share of Axovan, that company, all the way through the failure. Wrote it all the way down. For me, it was like.
Did anybody around you sell it though, or
nope?
No,
nope, not me.
So why do they make up a lie about you?
They literally will people will make shit up with zero accountability.
Well,
which is ridiculous.
Well, you know what I saw. Like everyone was Trump's friend. Like before he was running, everyone. Oprah would. Oh, he's
totally.
Such a nice person.
And the stuff they made up about him.
Oh, it's horrible.
The people made up about me is by now tiny in comparison to the stuff.
They accused him of being the most craziest, horrible human being. They accused him of being this insane person, this felon. All
made up stuff about his businesses.
It's crazy.
But the moral of the story. I don't want to end on the sad part, because I think the reality is, even though that drug failed, the company, and this is my experience in my life, is we're all strengthened by our failures. The company got stronger in the sense that the people who worked there were doubly committed to the mission. They know we did everything the right way. Then 5 other drugs get through phase 3, succeed. Those are FDA-approved products today. One of them is a life-saving therapy in kids, where 100% of kids die with this disease by the age of 3.
Damn.
One of the drugs that we developed, 70% of those kids now live lives of normal duration. So prostate cancer, a bunch of others.
That's actually insane.
And so that's how I generate my wealth. And I just think, and that's like an $8 billion company traded on the NASDAQ today, is Roivant, the company.
You're a hero. Seriously.
Thank you, man. I'm proud of it.
That's crazy.
But one of the things that it irritates me, but then you remind yourself, okay, this is how things go.
You're a hero.
Is when people sort of make the kind of stuff up that they've done with Donald Trump or me or whatever. It's what deters people from going into politics. But you know what? You speak the truth, and good things happen.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question, because obviously, like with my generation, I want to give people, kind of like a comfort thing. What are your pronouns? I go by like they, he. What do you go by?
Win-win.
My buddy, Sneak. Nicholas is his real name. He asked Vivek, how many genders are there?
There are 2 genders, male and female. Period.
I lost like millions of dollars of deals because of that.
I didn't know that.
I tweeted that out 2 years ago.
See, this is where the biology class would have come in handy. There's 2 X chromosomes, you're a woman, and X and a Y, you're a man.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And look, that doesn't mean that there's many different ways to be a woman. You don't have to wear a skirt. You can wear pants. You can wear whatever you want.
Do whatever you want.
Long hair, short hair, do what you want.
Right.
But it is a biological hard fact that there are 2 genders. It's foundational, actually.
Yeah.
Across species. I mean, reproduction, genetic diversity is fostered through male and female
of course
sex. And the idea that Look, I think I don't want to. I think we sometimes get into the habit of just trampling on people who are suffering, and I don't want to do that because if you believe your gender does not match your biological sex, especially if you're a kid, that means that you likely are suffering from a mental health disorder, that you have a delusion. And I think that our response should not be to laugh at that person. It should be compassion. Somebody's going through a hard time if they believe, despite having male sex organs and an X and a Y chromosome, and they were born a boy, but then they get to 16 years old and decide they're a girl, that means something else is probably going wrong in their life. And we should actually have the compassion to figure out what that is and address it rather than, indulge a fantasy, which actually is worse for the very person. Most people, after going through gender conversion surgery,
they regret it, right?
Yeah, they don't have this. It's not like their depression is suddenly gone. They're still as unhappy as they were before. It was just that they assumed that was what was actually going to make them feel better.
Fulfilled.
Yeah, and I've met two young women when I ran for president, who cut off both their breasts. One of them had her uterus removed.
Wow.
Took a bunch of chemical intervention.
It's horrible.
They're never going to be the same again, and they regret their decision. They wish they hadn't done that. They're in their 20s, but they did it when they were in their teens. I don't think somebody under the age of 18 should be allowed to make permanent decisions.
Ever. I think 18 plus, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an adult, it's different if you're an adult.
Right. Do what you want.
If you're an adult, do what you want, as long as you're not hurting somebody else.
Of course.
You don't get to compete with women in sports competitions.
Yeah, of course.
But broadly speaking, you want to live your life the way you want. No problem if you're a fully grown adult.
Yeah.
You respect everybody's individual rights, but kids aren't the same as adults.
Yeah.
That's my view.
It just sucks, man, because obviously now you can kind of say what you want to say and stuff now. But 2-3 years
Things have changed, yeah.
Well, 2-3 years ago when I made a tweet about, that there's two genders, I lost out on a bunch of stuff, a bunch of deals. Everyone started to kick me, ban me, all these things. I just liked showing people the real side of me. I just feel like when you hide behind something and of who you are and you can kind of like mask certain things, I don't know, I just never really thought that was cool, but I am working on something big. Like I said, I want to help people out. I want to inspire people to do good things for people. And that's kind of like the way I want to, do my streams and what I do. Now. I just feel like America in general, right? And and the reason why I say America is because look, you look at a country like Japan. Mm-hmm. It's so fascinating. I watched a video when somebody drops a pen, and if you're walking down Shibuya, if you drop a pen, they're all gonna try to help you grab your pen and hand it to you. In America, you drop a pen, nobody will help you.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. It's like it's like we're so divided as a nation, and it really sucks because it's just, I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know what it was. I don't know when, because I was young at that point. When there was a shift, but man, there was a shift at some point where America really, everyone just started saying, F you to everybody, and everyone was separated, and, I don't know. Maybe when that turn was.
I don't know that it was a turn. I think we go through these cycles over time and over the years. I mean, but I will tell you, this idea of speaking openly, I believe that actually unites us. I think that the idea that you could say these controversial things, they would say that, that's going to divide us. Now, people feel more united when they actually are able to speak their mind freely. So that first book I gave you, Woke Inc.
Yeah.
So I wrote that. So we're talking about my time as a biotech CEO. I told you about the business background. Let's continue that story a little bit. So May of 2020, George Floyd dies. You remember this?
Of course.
Riots across the street. What they call mostly peaceful protests.
It wasn't.
Riots.
Yeah,
riots
I know.
across the streets.
Yeah.
The company was in New York. And suddenly there was an expectation that every biotech and tech CEO is supposed to say some statement in favor of BLM. It didn't feel right to me. I looked at the BLM website. It said, Black Lives Matter website, it said that they call for dismantling the nuclear family structure. That didn't make sense to me. But then also, I didn't think a company should be wading into this. So I said that. I said that our company is not wading into this. Our company's mission is to develop medicines. And we're not getting into that.
Yeah.
That actually created a lot of controversy for me. It come in great.
Really?
I know you said you face a lot of consequences for saying there's two genders. The equivalent of this for me was there was a lot of controversy in the biotech world. I would say 6 months later, I refused to get into this realm of the company wading into politics. I basically had to make a choice. Either I could remain the CEO of the company that I founded, by then a multi-billion-dollar company. I've been the CEO for 7 years. I could remain the CEO and shut up on follow the line, toe the line, which is just to say what every other CEO was, some statement in favor of BLM or whatever the cause was of the day.
Yeah.
Or I could actually speak my mind, actually tell people what was on my mind, which is what I put in that book.
Oh, so you did.
But then I would have to step down as my job as a CEO, which I did.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
So you stepped down to say what you really wanted to say.
Yeah, and that's when I wrote the book. And you know what? That was a liberating experience for me. So I'm sure it didn't feel good when you lost the deals that you lost at the time.
Yeah, nah.
But in the long run, you got to be you.
You know, it feels good to just know that, okay, here's one thing, and I'm not saying a bunch of streamers are not, I wouldn't, people in my realm, like people in my world realm, a lot of them are like, they have these major signing deals and stuff, and obviously they have to kind of bite their tongue on what they can and can't say. They're not allowed to have like a political opinion. They're not even really allowed to speak about certain things. And again, like if they want to go down that path and they want to be brand friendly and stuff, I'm all for that. Like let them do what they want to do.
Yeah.
I just love the path of just being me. Like at any moment, if someone's like, Aiden, what do you think about this? I'm allowed to say whatever I want to think about.
It's working out for you.
Yeah,
it's good.
But
I mean, people are hungry for that.
Yeah, but I wanna ask because my boy, this is a great question too from Sneak. He said Luigi. The whole thing about that Luigi guy. I want to know your thought on that because so many people were calling this guy a hero.
Yeah, he's not a hero.
Well, he's a killer.
He might be deranged. He might have deep-seated psychological issues.
But why are people saying that he's a hero? And you know, it's like, is it because he was a handsome guy? Like, what was it? What was the actual reason?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think that played into it as much. Only because people had already turned him into kind of like the cult hero worship started even before they knew what he looked like, right? Like it was initially.
That's true. When the video came out, people were saying, you know, this guy's a hero. All these things
that already had started before.
Right.
I think it reveals that the people just have a lot of deep-seated frustration, right? We live in a moment where people are understandably frustrated that they feel like they've been told that you go to 4 years of college, take on a loan, graduate, live the American dream. When it hasn't worked out that way, you can't even make basic ends meet. You may struggle to get health insurance. You may not be able to afford what you think of as a reasonable way of life. Even if you're working hard, you're not being able to access a better life for yourself. So I think that there's a lot of latent frustration and mistrust of the system. I think people feel like they've been lied to. And why do people feel like that? Because people have been lied to.
Yeah.
I think our government and our leaders in every domain of life haven't been forthright. But then there's this culture of not being able to talk about it in the open that you and I were talking about. And when you tell people to shut up, sit down, do as they're told for a really long time, they bottle that up and really toxic things start to happen. All of that being said, that's not an excuse at all. It's not. It's completely unacceptable and disgusting and subhuman. So it's not the standard we want to hold ourselves to say that somebody's going to kill another person in cold blood. And in America, you're going to see people celebrating that? No.
It's crazy.
That's not us. It's crazy. But I think that the way we're going to address this is, one, call that out. There's no justifying it. At the same time, understand that there's a deep sickness in our country, a mental health epidemic, a deep sickness of frustration, a deep sense of disempowerment, that we have to give people a true sense that they're in charge of their lives again, so that we can get back to a place when a murderer kills somebody in cold blood, that there isn't people in America who thinks that that's an act worthy of celebration.
It's crazy. I think people, some people do deserve, like I'm all for like death penalty on some occasions, like pedophiles, in my opinion. I think, you're
just talking about a guy who's a healthcare CEO.
Yeah, I know.
Or you're talking about the guy who killed him.
No. I'm just saying in general, like, I just don't think, like, death, like, killing is wrong, right? Killing is wrong. Yes, but I'm all for, like, being, like, pedophiles. Like, that's why I love DeSantis. He passed something where, like, pedophiles in Florida, they get death penalty. I'm like, I personally like that. I think nowadays, man, with pedophilia, and you see a bunch of, like, famous people who used to work in Hollywood, stuff's coming out about them. You see the Diddy stuff. I mean, it's like...
I mean, some of that stuff, I was just like...
But it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like, first of all, what do you think about the Diddy, by the way, the Diddy stuff?
I mean, what I think is, it sure seems like a lot of other people who are now coming out with their virtue signaling. Anybody in Hollywood who immediately after that comes out trying to come out as some sort of virtuous saint,
it's
you
crazy.
better believe that they were probably part of what was
going
on.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, bro,
it's insane. I mean, you got the Epstein version in the business world and the political world. Then you got the Diddy world in the music world.
Rappers, athletes, the top of the line. Yeah, it's like, come on, what do they know? You know what I mean? It's nuts.
I think that it wasn't that long ago either, by the way. Like, I think this was a kind of a norm in the country that somehow, when it was with respect to somebody who's in like a pop star position, you're supposed to look the other way. And, you know, I'm always a fan of somebody getting a fair trial and going through the judicial process before we pass judgment.
Yeah.
But assuming some of those accusations are true, assuming that, shame on like our entire country for turning our eye away from the kind of disgusting behaviors that were hiding in plain sight Epstein, Diddy, you name it. It's kind of shameful that we claim to be a values-grounded Christian values nation or whatever when with actually just tolerating all of this vile child abusive behavior.
I'm not going to leak anybody specifically, but let me tell you this. Some of the biggest musicians, they got paid to promote and endorse Kamala. I know for a fact that they wanted Trump. And I know for a fact because I saw, check this out, I saw actual proof with my own eyes of a private text conversation between somebody and somebody saying that I did this for the bag. I swear to God on everything I love. I'm not lying about it.
Really funny.
I promise you.
Oh, man.
So it just goes to show you. It's like, and I'm giving you an example of like how easy it is for people, in the A-listers to easily sell out, man. It's like, it's just, it's crazy. It's really nuts. It's nuts. I'm telling you, it's nuts.
It's kind of...
it's scary, though. It really is scary. Because these guys are making hundreds of millions of dollars. You really want to take a quick little $5-10 million to just go...
any amount of money, really.
But it's like you already have 100 mil.
Yeah, no, it doesn't even make any sense.
It doesn't.
It doesn't make any sense.
This is none of my business, but like, what's your net worth? I'm sorry.
About $1 billion. I'm like a poor billionaire.
You're a billionaire?
I only have one.
What?
I don't have like multiple billions. I only got
You have
one.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
What? That's crazy. Okay, congrats.
A lot of people have a lot more than that, but
Congrats, though.
Thanks.
You're a billionaire, and like you say what you like, and
my view is if the funniest thing is some of the people who are the most scared of sharing their beliefs are actually billionaires. At least until about maybe a year ago, that was definitely true in America.
Yeah.
And my view is, what's the point of having $1 billion if you can't even speak your mind?
That's true.
The true free person is the person who's actually able to speak his mind and actually be able to enjoy true freedom.
Of course.
And so I don't think that happiness correlates all that much with how much money you have.
No,
I
it doesn't.
don't. I think you need to have a certain minimal amount to be able
for freedom.
To be able to put food on the dinner table.
Yeah.
To be able to make sure that if you get sick, which everyone does at some point, that it doesn't bankrupt you. That much is important. But above that, I don't think your happiness necessarily correlates to how much money you have.
No, I want to ask you a personal question. Is there a difference between $50 million and $100 million?
Yeah, a lot more taxes.
Ah, okay. Besides the tax part?
I'm just kidding. Well, not kidding about that. That's true, too.
Yeah, it is.
Depends on just what your view of the world is, man. Like, I think that our house, we're grateful for where we live, but it's like some people come to our house, it's like, oh, it's just like it's a beautiful house, nice, but it's like a regular house.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, oh, wait, that's not like a traditional billionaire house. And it's like, would I be happier if I had like more space to take care of? Like maybe we also like going on, vacations to nice places, but I also like having a house that's not that different than the one that I grew up in as a kid.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, man. I don't think like the difference between 50 to 100 million. I think at a certain point, what you can do is you can start using that money to do good for other people.
Yeah, of course.
Or to change the country for the better, hopefully, or
at least
in the way you want to. Like that to me, that is a threshold you could hit, where if you're able to write a $100,000 check, that could change somebody's life. And I think you can't do that if you're or if you have a family, but you're a millionaire, you're worth $2 million, but you can't necessarily just take that money out of your account without thinking about it, donate it to some cause that you believe in. If you also have a family that you feel like you need to take care of, so that to me is, I think, one of the liberating parts about actually generating liquid wealth is that you can then at least start putting it to use in ways that you think actually
make
the country better.
100%.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. It's already 8:30. How long do I have you? Because this is amazing, and
this is pretty good.
I really do love this. Like this is.
Maybe I gotta fly back tonight, so maybe we'll go till 9. How's that?
All right, we got 30 minutes with them.
Okay.
Chat. How do y'all? First of all, chat. I love this. This is great. I don't usually do this. I really don't.
It's fun, man.
No,
you're downstairs too. I was shooting some hoops on the way up. It's pretty good. You're a ping pong player?
Yeah, I actually do. I play ping pong.
Maybe we'll play a game before we go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now that they're actually enjoying it too, man, they're putting W's, which is meaning a win, meaning they like you.
I love how you have to translate this for me. It's right. You got like the guy with the mustache. That means they're laughing.
That means they're laughing at you. Yes, it's the Kakwa. That's called the Kakwa. Ask him about social media censorship. My boy here is asking this question. Let me just give you a little background.
Cool.
He's banned on Instagram. He's banned on YouTube.
You know him?
Sneeko, yeah.
Okay.
He's my good friend.
That's really funny how you can see this. All right.
Yeah, he's
social media censorship. So I'm dead set against it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm dead set against it. There's multiple levels of social media censorship. One is when social media companies ban particular expression of content on their website. I'm against that. And I think the reason they've been doing it is many cases the government has been threatening them behind closed doors to do it.
Got it. Okay? When you mean the government, do you mean like the
U.S. government?
I'm saying the presidential administration who's currently in office?
Mostly the Biden administration.
So the Biden administration,
It's happened with
okay.
the Biden administration. But frankly, even under the first Trump administration, you have a lot of actors in what's called the deep state, okay? The people who we never elected to run the government, but who are bureaucrats in Washington, D.C., where the president has no visibility into what they're doing. They think of themselves as totally unaccountable.
Right.
Where behind closed doors, they tell these tech companies, hey, you got to remove that or else we're going to come after you.
Got it.
Well, then those tech companies censor that content, but that's not really big tech censoring the content. It's the government censoring the content.
Makes sense.
Which in the United States of America, the government's not allowed to do because we have
Freedom
the
of
First
speech.
Amendment. Exactly.
Of course,
The First Amendment says the government can't do that.
Yeah.
So what the government started to do is they started to threaten these companies to do through the back door what the government could not do through the front door under the Constitution. So that's one kind of social media censorship. But let me talk about a different kind of social media censorship.
Okay.
I talked about this when I ran for president, got myself in major trouble. Actually, I want people to remember this. Actually,
Okay.
I'm glad we're talking about this.
Uh-oh.
So in 2023, when I said this, it's 2025 now. In 2023, when I said this, this wasn't considered like, ooh, that was kind of brave. This was considered heretical.
What did you say?
This was in the Republican Party, the idea that this could, like a candidate for president could say this was nuts. What I said was, I don't think we should ban TikTok. And what I said was, in fact, I'm going to join TikTok. Now, today that feels normal. In 2023, go back and watch the debates. They tried to eviscerate me for this. They said, how are you going to join this toxic platform? My view is, if you want to reach the next generation, are you sure you just want the other side to have a monopoly on it? And instead, everybody and their mother was in favor in the Republican Party of banning TikTok. And I just thought it's a bad idea where we don't want to act like we're not going to beat China by being China. And if it's TikTok today, it'll be X tomorrow. It'll be Snapchat the next day. You can't set that precedent in the United States. So that's what I believed.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've learned is in business, it's a big advantage. It pays to be early.
Got it.
In politics, it does not pay to be early.
Got
okay?
it. Got
if you're
it.
too early in politics,
It's not good.
All people remember is that was a guy who said some really weird things. I don't remember what they were, but actually those weird things ended up being right. Because now most Republican influencers are on TikTok. Even some of the very ones who back then were hitting me hard for being on TikTok, they're now making their name and making their careers on TikTok as well.
Well,
so I think that's a different kind of social media censorship. Is just censoring entire platforms, which I'm against as well.
My question to you is, with TikTok, obviously it's ran by China. They have all our information. But at the end of the day, we get everything from China. Everything's made in China. So it's like, I don't know. Like,
solve the actual problem. Don't just
so how do we solve it? How do we solve it? Because it's not solved yet.
The number one app on the iTunes app.
What?
Apple Store is
TikTok.
Well, now.
Yeah.
DeepSeek. Guess where that came from?
China.
Yeah.
And they use way less money, right?
It's just that's a separate point too. But it's just so funny that like everybody fixated on TikTok when there are plenty of other Chinese apps in the App Store.
Right.
That's just like, oh well, that wasn't what made the news headlines, and therefore I'm not going to pay attention to it. So
right.
I just prefer applying principles across the board.
Are you? Oh, someone said. I know this is personal. Someone said, "Are you vaccinated? COVID vaccine?"
I did take the COVID vaccine.
You did?
Yeah. And I will say it was because I wanted to travel around, man. Like we were.
You couldn't travel without it.
You could travel without it. I'm a big tennis fanatic. I wanted to go to the U.S. Open. You couldn't do it. I'd just say, was I at risk for it? Thank God I was not.
Yeah.
And even at the time, we didn't even know what this was going to do. But did I want to get on with my life? I did.
You just wanted to live your life, yeah.
Yeah.
They're asking this one thing. I don't really know if I should ask. Here, you could just. Wait, hold on. Let me pull it up for you really, really quick. Sorry, this. I don't even know what that is. That right there. If you prefer me to.
A lot of people are asking about the APAC.
What is that?
Ask about APAC. Oh, this guy keeps going. Ask him. Yeah, so APAC is basically a PAC. Well, it was a PAC. It's like a political donation group. But APAC is a particular political donation group that supports the cause of Israel in the United States.
Oh, okay.
So they're saying ask about APAC. And I think that probably what they mean is like, what's the influence of APAC on our politics? Here's the truth. The influence of all kinds of PACs on our politics is huge, right? There are all kinds of PACs. But there are all kinds of. I don't want any kinds of malicious foreign interference in the United States. There are all kinds of malicious foreign interference. In the United States.
No, of course, yeah.
And at least as it relates to APAC, they're a lot more transparent. Say what you will about them, they're a lot more transparent than other kinds of foreign influence in the U.S. So I'm not a big fan of politicians turning into puppets of PACs. That's just unfortunately the way modern politics works. So a better second best solution is at least have enough competition in the marketplace such that it's transparent to everybody, and at least you know who's paid for by whom, and at least then people can judge for themselves whether their politicians are actually telling the truth. That's where I land.
Got it. Let's see here. Let's see. Ask about George Soros. Who's that?
George Soros is a very wealthy man who has funded democratic causes and has effectively turned a lot of prosecutors across the country into soft on crime, left wingers. So basically, a lot of the crime waves in many cities across the country have gone up.
Right.
After George Soros helped fund the election of prosecutors.
Got it.
That no longer prosecuted even violent crimes or theft or robbery. It's part of why San Francisco and other cities have
because of him?
Well, I mean, you could say it's a lot of reasons, but was he funding the prosecutors who were going soft on crime? Yes, he was.
Got it.
And was it part of a vision of just rolling back prosecution and tough on crime policies? Yes, it was.
Got it.
And so I think a lot of people are understandably, I'm among them, pissed off that you have somebody using vast amounts of wealth to put prosecutors in seats where they're not actually enforcing the law in ways that leave everyday Americans suffering.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. What else you guys got, man? We don't got them for that much longer. Do you like UFC?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite fighters?
It's probably not a popular answer, but I like Bo Nickel, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That's your favorite?
Because he's got his scrappy style. I think he does what he needs to do to win. So it's not designed to be, it's not designed. I'm not doing any frills. The scoring system is set up the way it is, and I'm going to do what it takes to win. I've also got to know him a little bit, so
nice. Okay,
I think
cool.
he's a good guy. We went to the Penn State Ohio State game in Pennsylvania together, which Ohio State thankfully won. But we hung out that day, and I always admired him from afar in terms of his discipline.
Yeah.
But after I got to know him, I said, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nah, UFC is such an awesome thing.
It's a good sport.
I love it. Yeah, it's great. It's so amazing.
It's also kind of one of these things we were talking about business before, about finding undervalued opportunities. It existed, but the thing I love about Dana White and the Fertitta brothers is they spotted that opportunity, and they were like, oh, no. Market that and build that the right way. This could actually be a little bit of structure around it could be huge at a time where people thought that was going to be a nothing.
I love
that.
The
same way that we were looking at. I was giving you the examples of like biotech drugs that pharma had abandoned. They were all the way over here. When I met Dana and his investors, I told him about the analogies in the worldview. They saw value where others did not. And they made it something great.
That's
so I
cool.
respect that story.
That's cool. What about TV shows? You watch any TV shows?
TV's not good anymore. I think
it's really not,
TV's
actually.
like not good. And, I miss good movies, too. So I used to be a big movies guy. I'm just, there aren't great movies made quite in the same way anymore.
Right.
I like some great movies. I love Interstellar. I love The Dark Knight. I love Whiplash.
Yeah, Whiplash is good. Dark Knight's really good too.
Movie. Yeah.
So I've never seen Interstellar.
High quality movie.
Interstellar's good.
It makes you think.
Yeah,
it makes you think. Yeah.
Okay.
So I like just like quality, high quality. I've heard this movie. What was it? The second Juror number 2. I heard was pretty good. It's a Clint Eastwood movie. So it's on my list to watch, but I haven't seen that.
I just recently watched Shutter Island with Leonardo.
Shutter Island's pretty good.
That's a cool movie.
It's psychological thriller.
You gotta think about it. And you gotta rewatch it. It's cool.
Totally. That's a good one.
They want to know about JFK. What? I'm sorry.
I want to know about JFK. So it makes two of us, or makes a bunch of us. I would say that Trump has been probably most forthright in his willingness to declassify the stuff you're not supposed to touch.
Yeah.
Actually, give the public transparency. JFK, MLK, give Malcolm.
Wait,
X,
I saw something come out about MLK. Is that true?
Well, I mean, look, I think that his biography was written last year. There's a lot of documents that have been declassified. I think we should just see historical figures for who they are.
Got it.
Great men are imperfect men.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people who have done great things, I mean, people say the same thing about our founding fathers. We're imperfect. We're all imperfect beings, but we don't need to make up mythology and pretend that our figures from history were perfect human beings
That's
in order
the problem,
to still
though.
admire the parts of them that were respectable.
Definitely.
But my view is, whether or not, just give us the truth.
Yeah.
JFK on just give us the truth. And I think transparency, is the way forward, because people trust their government. When the government says, oh, no, people can't handle the truth, then people actually imagine far worse than the truth might have even actually been. Just tell us the truth and be straight about it. I think President Trump's been good about that, as good as we've had in modern history, and I hope he continues that for the next couple of years.
Definitely. Do you think the Earth is flat?
No.
Okay. I don't think so either. By the way,
I just don't. I think what I think is most compelling proof.
What?
Photographs of Earth taken from outer space.
But those are not real.
I think
those
I think
are AI.
I think a lot of them actually are.
Oh, they are?
I think a lot of them predated AI. Yeah. I'm always one to question conventional wisdom, but I'm sorry, the Earth is not flat.
Do you think that we've ever been to the moon?
I do.
So why haven't we been there like anytime soon?
I think we need to go back more. Actually, I'm a big fan.
I thought okay, because look, and again, maybe I'm incorrect.
Actually, it's interesting you bring that up. I think one of the targets of space exploration should include. I mean, I'm a fan of all of the above: Mars, Moon, but I think we're a little bit underweight on going to the moon.
Well, didn't we send a chimpanzee to the moon? Right? We sent a monkey to the moon, right?
You might know something I don't.
No,
you might know
I'm missing.
Okay.
Something got sent to the moon here. I don't know.
You might know something I don't. But I'm a big fan of continuing to expand our exploration and even preparation for long-term life on the moon. I think that's strictly good.
It's fascinating. I think like that. No, you're right. Do you think within the next 10 years, do you think that we'll be able to live on Mars?
Next 10 years is
20. Sorry, 20.
I think 20 is I would bet on that.
Would you live on Mars if you had the option to?
I have to learn more about it. I like Earth a lot.
Yeah.
So,
of course.
and this is sort of my view is for exploration of for the expansion of humankind's possibilities, go as far as we possibly can and learn as much about the universe as we possibly can.
Got it.
For the purpose of individual satisfaction, if you believe that you have to look that far to find actual satisfaction, it means you're not looking close enough to home. So that's the way I look at it.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's great. Great. What other funky questions you guys got? I love how open you are too. It's really amazing.
Back at you, man. I like this. I think people.
It's really awesome.
Seem to like that about
no,
you.
this is awesome. This dynamic. It's great. I think you being UFOs, aliens.
You gotta have to have intellectual humility, right?
Yeah.
Are there phenomena about outer space or even phenomena that have been observed in the Earth that we need to be curious about and learn more about? That's hard to argue with. But, I'm a guy who's grounded in fact, so I'm not going to make up fairy tales.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you think there are?
I'm open-minded to the possibilities that we do not know everything we think we know about what exists, whether life exists in outer space or not, and even whether there are other forms of intelligent non-human life even on Earth. I have no idea.
Got it.
I haven't seen evidence to that. I haven't seen evidence to that effect on Earth, but I do think that it is certainly when you think about the expansiveness of the universe, the idea that we are the only intelligent beings in the entire universe, I think is at least, it's not a crazy question to ask.
No, it's not.
I think that we should have curiosity to explore it. At the same time, I don't think that you should just make stuff up and believe in something without evidence of it existing either.
Got it.
I'm an evidence guy.
Got it. What are your thoughts on AOC?
I don't have I don't think about AOC that much. I don't have a ton of thoughts. I think she, at times, has said some interesting things, maybe. I think Bernie is maybe more interesting to me, frankly, if I'm looking at figures on the hard left. I find Bernie slightly more interesting than AOC.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
okay.
What I would say.
Yeah. There's not really anything interesting to talk about there.
Yeah.
I
think Bernie's a little bit more interesting just because he's willing to take positions that actually sometimes will challenge the left. And I think it's always interesting. It's super boring when you have politicians in either political party where like the only thing they say is the thing that they are supposed to say.
Yeah, of course.
For their political party. You see it all the time. And actually, like, it irritates me when I see it amongst fellow Republicans. Like, even when you run for president, you see this stuff. Like other people on, who are in partisan politics. They literally just sort of check what they're supposed to say, they say. So anyway, what I like about Bernie is he's on the hard left. I disagree with him on most issues. And at times he'll just say stuff that actually people on the left will be like, wait a minute. He wasn't supposed to say that.
Oh, wow.
And the guy seems to just not really care. So I haven't told the story before, but when I was running for president, I was in the backseat of a car in D.C., and I think Bernie had just said something kind of interesting. I forget what it was. I was like, I texted my old friend. I had a friend who had worked in the Obama administration. I was like, you have Bernie Sanders' phone number. He's like, yeah, I'll get it for you. And so he gave it to me, and then I just picked up the phone and I called Bernie Sanders. And I think he thought it was some type of prank call.
No way.
Yeah, I was like, hey, it's Vivek Ramaswamy. I think he did not believe that it was actually me, and he was just like, he kind of lost it. And then we never ended up talking, but I'm sure we'll end up meeting at some point.
That's crazy. Does he know that, or that was your first time ever saying that?
I don't know. I doubt he knows it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I decided not to follow up. I had other things to do. But in that particular moment, I thought it'd be kind of interesting to give him a call.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. Come on, guys. We only got him for a little long. You are really an interesting guy.
You should come to Ohio, man.
I'm coming. I'll come. I promise you.
Were we gonna?
Yes.
I told my friend.
I'm with. It's about 10 minutes ish.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry. Yeah. Well, guys, I'll let him give you a little background on that in about 10 minutes or so. Yeah, we're gonna have something cool. What else you guys got, man? This is some really awesome stuff. Wait, so what part of Ohio are you from? What part?
I grew up in Cincinnati.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, Cincinnati's a good city, but I live in Columbus today.
Okay.
So, yeah, we used to go to Columbus a lot growing up. Columbus is a pretty nice city.
Is it cold, by the way, right there? Right now?
It's pretty frigid, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I mean, you deal with no big deal.
Of course.
I like living in Columbus, and I like visiting places like Miami. It's good. It gives me an appreciation.
So what do you like more?
I like having 4 full seasons, though.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
That. It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you like more, Miami or LA as of right now?
As of right now,
yeah.
Miami. As of right now, definitely. But that's because of the political circumstance. If it weren't for the man-made damage done to California and LA,
Cali, definitely.
I would prefer LA. Yeah,
me too. Yeah.
I like elevation. I like to hike.
Yeah,
I like Miami, but there's no mountains here.
Nah, there's
Same
not.
thing as Ohio doesn't have mountains.
Yeah.
I mean, LA, just LA and the surrounding areas, it doesn't really. Just the nature doesn't get much more beautiful than that.
It's
mountains
best.
hitting
You have
the
everything.
ocean.
Snow, mountains, everything.
Totally, yeah.
It's great.
So at its best, but obviously the way it's been mismanaged, you probably don't want to be there right now.
Right. By the way, did you see what happened with Selena Gomez?
I did not.
You gotta watch that. Matter of fact, will you get that link right now? I gotta show it to you.
Yeah. I feel like I in my social media feeds have seen her name pop up more recently now that you mentioned it the last day, but I have not. I have no
do you listen to music? What are your top 3 artists or musicians or?
It used to be I like classical. I like solid rappers.
Oh, really?
Old school rappers. I mean, I used to like Eminem until
me too.
Until he changed. I
know.
I like Eminem 1.0.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, because he's like a savage. He doesn't care about any.
Yeah.
I love Slim Shady. That's
the real Slim Shady.
The real Slim Shady.
The OG Slim Shady.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. I like. I actually like classical music also.
Nice.
Funny enough.
Like Beethoven and stuff?
Beethoven,
nice.
Mozart. Yeah,
nice.
I play the piano myself. And
that's great.
So what about you?
Right now, for me, Drake. I like Kanye, Drake, J. Cole. I like...
whose concert I went to in Columbus recently, who's actually really freaking talented, is Lupe Fiasco.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. He's one of the OG guys.
Yeah, my wife and I, went out to dinner one night, we were looking up what was going on, and he was just performing. And actually, the place we went, it was surprisingly not big. It was just like a smaller kind of club, maybe a few hundred people. I was listening to this guy. This guy's seriously talented.
Lupe Fiasco, yeah. He's got some hits.
Yeah, I think he's going to make a comeback. I'll predict that.
I love that. I think he's solidified. I think he's great.
Yeah.
But the comeback for sure.
I'll go on record. I think I'm going to predict a second comeback for him.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I love to hear that. Wait, what did you say, Lico? Or Pin? Okay. So, I don't know. I don't have the speaker here, but you can kind of hear it through here. So, Selena Gomez was crying about the deportations, but she deleted it quickly after. Hold on. Let me just go like this so you can kind of hear it through here.
Okay. All right.
1 second here.
This is Selena Gomez video?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see this now.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm just going to have you listen to it. Here, you can put these on.
Sounds good.
Yeah, put those on. Let me know if you could hear it. Ready?
How old is she, just out of context? Just like to adjust for the emotional response.
Wait, chat, how old is she?
Because I don't want to be ragging on one person.
She is, let's see.
Anyway, put play.
40. She's 30?
Oh, okay.
Do you hear it?
I just want to say that I'm so sorry. All my people are getting attacked. The children. I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything
Yes, that was it.
I haven't seen more than that clip. It didn't strike me as real.
It
didn't strike me as real.
Of course not. She reviewed it
as real at all.
Yeah, she reviewed it and then she posted it. It doesn't make.
It's just like it's one thing if it was somebody. It's like just self to camera.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know. I didn't buy it.
I wonder that. It's like you recorded that. You waited a little bit and then you posted it. It's
just like, okay, then upload. Wait till that uploads. Oh no, upload failed. Do that again.
Yeah, of course.
Oh no, I didn't record it right. Re-record. Like that's these things go.
But no, seriously. Yeah.
I don't know. It was.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was that like a big deal on the internet?
Yeah, it went viral everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, I can't believe this. This is hilarious.
Yeah, I think it probably convinced many more people to be in favor of mass deportations. Probably it was like some sort of ingenious psyop, maybe.
Well, I want to ask you a quick question here. I love America. I really do love this country.
Yeah.
What are your actual thoughts on mass deportation? What is it?
Mass deportation.
Yes, I know what it is. I just don't pronounce it.
I mean,
well, because here's my thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, look, some immigrants, in my opinion, are good. Like, they are. I'm not saying, like, all people are bad. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, there's bad people that come to this country and there's good people that come to this country.
Yeah.
I want to find a way where, well, not me, obviously, but I want there to be a way where the good people can come and be here and they come to America, like, the right way and all that stuff. But, like, the bad criminals and the guys that come in here and they do all the damage, they got to get out. Yeah. So, like, what are your thoughts?
So my thoughts are follow the law. The rule of law.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So you're right. I like the way you framed it.
Yeah.
But what's an easy way to first separate the good from the bad, or at least the bad? The first way of separating the bad is if your first act of entering the country broke the law, then you don't get the right to remain here.
Got it.
Period.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah, of course.
If you did not come legally, there's a lot of people who are trying to do it the right way, waiting in line, years, may never come to this country, despite the fact they would work hard and make contributions. All those people are following the law. If you decided to just come in through the back door across the southern border, your first act of entering this country broke the law and we're going to send you back. The one caveat to that is the government's given them a wink and a nod for a long time. Like Biden's given them a wink and a nod. So maybe they're not a bad person, but they still broke the law. So my view is, even you look at the people who came in just in the last 2 years of Joe Biden, you're talking about millions of people in just those last 2 years who illegally entered this country.
It's insane.
I think every one of those people, at least, should be returned to their country of origin. I think most people think that's reasonable because some of the arguments you'll hear is, oh, people have established roots in this country and what are you going to do? No, somebody who came here in the last 12, 18, 24 months. No, I'm sorry, they have not established roots in this country. If they entered illegally, return them to their country of origin. Start with that. That's already millions of people. That is a mass deportation.
That's crazy. No, it is.
In fact, not only is that a mass deportation, that alone would be the largest mass deportation in American history. And I think that is morally, ethically, not only justified, but necessary to protect the people who live in this country.
True Americans.
As law-abiding citizens, yeah.
I want to just tell you something really quick. So my buddy, his name is Vitaly, he used to do these, he would catch pedophiles, meaning he would hire an actor who looked like a 16-year-old boy. He would really be like 20. He would hire an actor. They would go to LA. It would be an illegal person who would try to meet up with a little 16-year-old boy who's like 35 years old. Let me tell you this one story.
Crazy.
So this like 45-year-old man, right? He meets up with this, again, 16 years old. He has meth, okay? And he's illegal. He's not from California.
Yeah.
The cop comes. He lets the guy go for free with the meth on the table, tells him to get out, go away. And the cop says to Vitaly, you keep recording these pedo catches, we're going to arrest you for basically filming some...
Unbelievable.
Isn't that crazy?
So it is crazy, but I learned a lot about this. So last year, I was an executive producer on a movie. We were talking about movies.
Yeah.
Check it out, if you don't mind. It's called City of Dreams.
Okay.
The movie City of Dreams. It is
Let me write it down. I'm actually going to write this down.
Yeah, it is about... It is based on a true story of this young man who is a boy.
Okay.
He's 15 years old, who is trafficked into the United States of America from Pueblo, Mexico.
Okay.
Into LA.
Okay.
And it is a riveting story, exactly some of the incidents that you described, exactly the same type of situation where the cops would actually get in trouble for going after the guys who were actually doing the trafficking rather than actually just sitting back and letting them get away with it.
It's crazy.
It's insane. So in some ways you can only explain this to people who don't believe it, but if you watch that movie, it at least highlights one boy's story. This boy actually managed to escape.
You produced it?
I was an executive producer.
Let me ask you a question, and if it's a no, it's a no. Is there a possible way you can give me copyright so I can watch it on my live stream in front of my chat or not?
Dude, let me see if we can work on that for you.
For real?
I will work on that for you.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, let me you want me to call the guys right now?
Yeah, what? Of course.
Let's see.
But I wanted to, there was a second part, okay.
Yeah.
So then we did a pedo catch in Miami. The police here, guess what they did? They arrested him. And guess what? It was a 24-year-old guy who wanted to meet up with a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
He had HIV/AIDS. He was going to give it to a 16-year-old boy. We got him arrested. He got charged.
Okay.
We actually put him in jail. Florida police, they did the right thing.
I mean, most of the country has common sense. I think you just need the courage to. I'm going to call the director of the movie, see if he's cool with it. How you doing, man? Are you kidding? So I was with Sean earlier today. I thought of you, but I gotta tell you, I'm actually live on a stream right now with Adin Ross. Do you know him? Of course, he says he interviewed Trump. Is what he said.
Oh, that's great.
So he has a question, and it's zero pressure, dude. But he says. So I was talking about City of Dreams because he was talking about human trafficking in the U.S. and I said he asked people have to watch this movie. He asked, would it be cool if he actually streamed the movie live to his viewership without like violating any rights and stuff? Does that work? Can we arrange for that? Streaming just opened on Hulu, he says, on Friday. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So can you talk to Hulu? Because it would. I'm sure they could work it out with Adin to make it work.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
It'd be huge for everybody.
Oh.
He has a big followership.
Hulu would be great.
Yeah.
I'd love to work with Hulu.
He says he would love to work it.
Come on, let's go.
It's a good movie. Yeah. Okay. I'll put you guys on a text.
Oh, that's
So
great.
He has some ideas on how to make it work. I think we got to make it work. So we're literally live on the stream right now. So I'll hook you up with him on text, and I think it will actually get, especially you have kind of a younger audience. It'll get like a younger audience to watch the movie.
Yeah, they're not really old, but they're getting there. Yeah.
I'll hook you up with Adin after that. I'll put you guys on a text.
Sounds amazing.
All right. Take care, brother. Bye. Good dude.
Dude,
And actually,
thank you.
No, I mean, we'll see. He says it's going to work. He wants to make it work, but he did this deal with Hulu, so they got to jump through, make sure it's done the right way. But you guys will figure it out. You should totally do it.
I will.
It is, and it's like, I don't mean to be bragging about my own movie that I was executive producer of. I don't make money off of this. The goal is to achieve impact, to be able to at least educate people about an issue.
Yeah.
But it's like when you have like a heavy-handed like documentary movie, it's just like people know it's an issue, but they don't feel like watching it.
Yeah. No, I know.
The goal with this movie is it was made to be at once. It's like a thriller. Actually, it's made as like a movie that is designed to be a thriller, but it is actually based on a true story that educates people on an issue that otherwise they have no clue about.
I love that.
I think if you have most people who will watch this will be like, that can't possibly be happening in the United States. And then you go actually open your eyes, and it's like once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's actually everywhere. Stories like the one that you just described.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
crazy.
dealer. Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it just really is. Guys,
that'll be a super good stream. If you come to Ohio
please.
sometime or do it, I'll even try to join you if you guys do that one remotely.
What I would like to do with you our next time, we only have a few minutes here, but guys, this is great. I think this is a really amazing dynamic here. I honestly feel like I could literally conversate with you for hours.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
Fun.
You're very, very good at speaking. I mean, obviously, but like it's
We could
insane.
do more of this. We could do more of this.
I will come to Ohio. We could do an IRL stream and
Sure.
do some fun stuff and.
Like in real life.
Yeah. Oh well, we're gonna have a camera follow us and do.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
I'd love to.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do
Guys, before we do, we say goodbye or whatever, I do want to say he loved the idea of helping me find somebody. I told you guys I'm looking for people with stories out there. I'll let you obviously give the background, the context about the story. But guys, I explained to him how I'm trying to help out one person per stream to motivate at least one viewer out there to do something nice. Just to help heal the world. And I know it may sound corny, but it's really not, because if one person doesn't think it's corny, one person can use it and apply it to the real life, I win for the day, and that's how I look at it. So with that being said, he picked somebody, and you can give a little update on Eric.
Is Eric on? Is he on the stream?
We have his stuff. We're going to give him a call. If you want to just give like a quick 30 seconds to them about Eric, go ahead.
So Adin and I were talking, and you were keen on, particularly thinking about a younger person who might be going through some struggles.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I care about as well is, so this is a good guy. I met him. He's a senior at Ohio State, and his dream in life was to serve in the military, serve our country. And I love that. I respect that. I met him because he ended up being an intern for me where, like when I was doing my presidential campaign and the period afterwards, he started interning. He was open to doing anything for an internship, but he ended up being the guy who helped me with a lot of the camera work, which is actually not an easy job, but he was so diligent. We didn't speak directly, but there would be this guy, he was a tall young man showing up. I would recognize him, and then after a while I started talking to him. His name's Eric, and I said, okay, thank you for being so diligent early hours of the morning, or if it's a late hour in the night of a trip, whenever I'm needed. Unless he plays in a band, unless his band has a concert, he would always be game to just show up. And I just asked him, what's your passion? He said, I want to serve in the military. He was really excited about it. What happened over the course of the last year was he had shared at the time that he registered for ROTC. He signed up for ROTC. You know what that is, like on the college campus.
Yeah.
They train you and recruit you into the military.
Yeah.
But they also pay for part of your education. So that's part of the positive of being able to pay for your education, but then you serve in the military afterwards. He told him when he signed up everything about him, including the fact that he had a peanut allergy, no big deal, knows how to handle it, lives his life the whole way. Later, when it comes to his senior year, he goes back and just reveals the same thing he's shown them before, which is that he had a peanut allergy. They're just like, oh, no, sorry. Despite the fact you've gone through the whole program, put all of this time and effort in, you can't serve, and by the way, you don't get your money.
It's horrible.
That you thought you were going to get.
Scam.
And so he went through a tough time this year with that, and he asked me if there was anything I could do to help him. He didn't even ask me that. I asked him if there was anything I could do to help him. And he was just humble about it. He said, look, I'd just like to serve my country. I introduced him to Pete Hegseth, who very recently was confirmed as our Secretary of Defense. I think they had a good conversation. But I always told him that I'd help him if I could. And he's so diligent at what he does that if I could hire him on my team to do something, I would. But his passion is to serve in the military. In the meanwhile, he was screwed over out of the money that he thought he was going to have help pay for his situation. So anyway, I hope he doesn't mind me having shared all of that. But when you called me and said, think of who's a young person, maybe in their 20s or whatever, who we could think about helping out, who deserves it, who is somebody who is a good example for all people and young people in the country, I thought of Eric.
It's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And guys, again, it's an amazing story, and it's just unfair sometimes. Super unfortunate, this specific story. But, I'm really, really happy he brought Eric to call in, and we're going to help him out. And it's a great moment. It's a really, really good moment. Shout out to Eric. And honestly, he has that hero mindset where he wanted to, just basically protect all of us. And I love people that are all for, being a part of the military and literally any branch at all. You're a hero in my book, and I look at you so differently. It's just this country, it's to have the love and you want to help serve and protect it. It's beautiful, really. It really is. So put a W in the chat for Eric. I'm gonna call him in right now over Discord. Let's get him. Let's call him up really, really quick. Prismel, did you? Oh, he connected. Perfect. Okay, let's give him a call really quick. Let me call him really quick. Let me call him. I'm gonna put this higher. There he is.
Oh, there he is.
Oh,
He got a haircut.
Hey, can you hear me?
we can hear you. I'm sorry, it's gonna be a little bit low, Eric. Talk.
Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
for sure.
We can hear you.
Hey, awesome. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
No, of course. Eric, look, man, it's a pleasure to meet you and connect with you, and I'm really, really happy that Vivek had connected you and I together. I was so fascinated by your story, and I just want to say I appreciate you. The whole chat's putting W's in the chat because you're a hero, man, and people really admire that. And you've just won. I don't want to take words out of your mouth, but you've wanted to protect and fight and be a hero to this country. And I just want to tell you personally, I appreciate you, and this chat does as well.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. My whole life I always wanted to be a part of that elite group. Those are the true heroes. I'm not a hero by any means at all. I just wanted to be given the opportunity to be a part of that elite group. And I tried my hardest, and I think I tried my best, and I was able to pick up that scholarship through ROTC. So I picked that up, and until after I was able to pick up that scholarship and get that contract, I was going to be an aviator for the Marine Corps. That is when I started going through the medical process, and that is when everything kind of got caught up and kind of ended the middle of my junior year.
So you did not end up getting the scholarship, though, right? They didn't get worked out, the money.
So no, I never got the money. I had earned the scholarship, so I got like
but you never got the money.
That they gave it to me. I never got the money though, because in order to actually get the contract and get the scholarship, I had to pass through the medical process, and that is where I got tripped up. And I went through immunotherapy, trying to take different doses of nuts, to try to bridge that, or to try to overcome that allergy. And ultimately, it didn't work out. But that's correct. I was never given it the money.
Got it. Well, look, what I could tell you, what I could do for you today, Eric, is we're going to give you $20,000 today. And that's, hopefully that'll help you take care of what you need to be, at least if it's a piece or whatever it is. Hopefully this can help you, man. And, like I said, if I would love for you to give some words for people in your position, people that want to, acquire education like yourself. And, you could just say some words as well.
For sure. And honestly, I'm speechless. Thank you very much. From the bottom of my heart, it means the world to me. And, my family thanks you. My family, they're a very service oriented family. My dad is a lieutenant on the fire department in Chicago, and my mom's a nurse and she's a professor now. My brother's a firefighter as well. And they just work so hard to help send me to school and get me through school. And, from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of their hearts, thank you very much. It means the world to
Eric,
me.
how much was the scholarship? How much was the scholarship amount?
So I believe it would have been, at my stage, it would have been 2 years of college. So around 100,000, I believe.
That you missed out on.
Because I picked up, because when I joined the program, I entered, it's called college programmer. So they're not on scholarship. And the whole idea is you need to earn, your way to the scholarship, and I worked hard and I was able to earn it.
He's the real deal.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, I didn't know what portion of it. I'll match what Adin is doing, so we'll double that up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that'll be good.
Oh, that's
Thank
awesome.
you very much.
That's like
Thank you very much
for all the hard work you've done, dude.
No, it's awesome, man.
Thank you very much.
I'm planning on coming out to Ohio in a couple weeks, man. I would love to meet you. It'd be great.
Oh, I love that. And this has just been the most, I don't even know what to say. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. It's
We should bring this guy to Ohio. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, literally. You come kick it with us for a little bit. That'd be cool.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'd love to.
It'd be great, man. And look, whatever you got going on in life, man. I could already see it, man. You seem like a very pure soul, and keep going. You seem very, very well spoken. You seem very, very, awesome, man. And God bless you and your family. Seriously.
Thank you very much. And also, I just wanted to say to Vivek that I just wanted to say how much I appreciate everything that you've done for me and the ability to see potential. Because when I was started as a policy researcher intern, it was right after I got out of the ROTC program, and I didn't really know what my plan was. I was kind of lost. I didn't know what I was going to do. But working there and then continuing on with videography, it's just been the best experience of my life, and thank you for that.
I appreciate it, man. We miss you. But I hope that
I miss you guys too.
going well. And I'm glad you had
For
that
sure.
dude.
Yeah, no, this is dope.
Yeah,
this is dope.
We'll get you guys together in Ohio.
Cool. All right, Eric.
Definitely.
Well, my team will be in touch with you, and I just want to say thanks for jumping on, and I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Have a good
See
night.
you, man.
All right, Eric.
Yeah.
You too.
All right. Oh man, that was awesome. That was
He's a good dude.
Yeah, no,
He's a good dude.
that's great.
I like to see the world is often not kind in the short run to the best of us, but we can change that.